This film is quite a creepy film, but it's not just the film that's creepy. There's some creepy things behind the scenes as well. For example, Pennywise the clown, who comes back to life every 27 years. Now this film came out 27 years after the 1990 miniseries. That's not all. All the child actors are actually 27 years younger than the actors that played the characters before them. And that's not all. If you add up all the numbers in the release date of this film, you get 27. And if that wasn't enough, if you add up all the numbers from the sequel's release date, you get 27. There's a lot of coincidence. But what's wrong with this film? It, retroactively also known as It Chapter 1, is also called It Part 1 The Losers Club, and it's a 2017 American supernatural horror film based on Stephen King's 1986 novel of the same name. The film tells the story of 7 children in Derry, Maine, who are terrorized by Pennywise the clown, who's also called It, only to face their own personal demons in the process. When the film was released, it received positive reviews, with critics praising performances, direction, cinematography and musical score, calling it one of Stephen King's best adaptations. It received numerous awards and nominations. But it's not perfect. That's why I'm doing this video. So let me explain 10 things wrong with It. Number 10. No Tim Curry. Well, of course, Tim Curry's not going to be in this film. Like I said, it's 27 years after he did his awesome performance in the original miniseries. But his performance was perfect. It's like Heath Ledger's Joker. No one is ever going to be able to topple that performance, and nobody's ever going to be able to topple Tim Curry's version. In fact, Bill Skarsgård actually also admitted himself he cannot do better than what Tim Curry did. That's why he did his own take that was completely and utterly different. And I'm going to give him kudos for that, but his presence is sorely missed. Number 9. Pennywise looks too scary. One of the things that made the original 1990 miniseries so great was the fact that Pennywise didn't look scary. It was all mind games. So he looked like a proper clown, so you could believe that he wasn't actually a bad guy. Unfortunately, this version of it, he looks scary from the off. And I don't know why. Clowns look scary anyway. Why deliberately make this clown scary? You didn't need to. You're supposed to make the clown look nice and friendly so children go to him. You don't make him scary to start off with. Number 8. Actually scaring the child actors. One of the things that they did, like they do in most films when children actors are about, is they try and make the actors feel and do it for real rather than pretend. So one of the ways they did this was keep Bill Skarsgård away from the children. So they didn't know what he was like, they didn't rehearse with him. So the first time they actually got to see him is when they're shooting. Now the children were pre-warned, but it didn't actually do that much good. So when Bill Skarsgård actually came on set and did his thing, these children actually pooped themselves. They were crying. After they filmed the scenes, they were all fine and actually happy, which Bill Skarsgård loved, saying they were ultra professionals. But the fact that they deliberately scared the children, yeah, I mean, it worked in their performances. But bizarrely enough, the only child actor that wasn't scared of Bill Skarsgård as It was the youngest actor, the kid that played Georgie. He wasn't scared at all. He was the only one. But everyone else, yeah, they were crying their eyes out on set because of his performance. Number 7. Prank marketing gone wrong. So films always do something special to market their films, and this film's no exception. In a town called Lint in Pennsylvania, America, what the filmmakers actually did is they went in overnight and they stuck in red balloons everywhere to try and promote this film coming out. On paper, that sounds brilliant. Unfortunately, it backfired because the town just got absolutely pooped scared. So much so, a lot of the residents wouldn't leave their house. The police had to go around taking down all these balloons, and the police had more phone calls about these red balloons everywhere than anything else. Number 6. Another prank gone wrong. This one only happened in Germany, and bizarrely enough, I actually love this one. It didn't go down well, but I thought it was brilliant. Now, in Russia, yeah, I know I'm talking about something in Germany, but hear me out. In Russia, there was a lot of controversy between Ronald McDonald and Pennywise the Clown. They didn't like it, they were too similar. So what Burger King did in Germany was, at the end of the film, they put their logo with the tagline, "Never trust a clown." Whoever came up with that idea was fantastic. He needs a raise, it was brilliant. Unfortunately, it did fail, with a lot of people not understanding it and just thought that they were watching a 2-hour Burger King advert, which was quite a good idea, but yeah, that marketing one didn't work down too well. Number 5, upside down book. So let's crack on with some things wrong with the actual film now, shall we? Starting off, Stanley is in a church reading a Hebrew book, trying to please his parents, which no kid in this film seems to do, but that's a different story. However, he is reading the Hebrew book upside down. I noticed things like this. Yeah, he read the book upside down. There's no ifs or buts. The book's upside down. Number 4, no one talks to the cops. Now, I have said in the past that adults don't listen to children, and that happens quite a lot in films. Even today, that still happens. But this film took it one step further. These kids didn't go to the cops. Now, I'm not talking about the supernatural stuff that was going on. There are some more realistic things that are going on that they didn't speak to the cops about. Now, first of all, Henry Bowers actually carved a H in one of the other kids with a knife. Something that didn't happen in the original 1990 miniseries, but happened in this film. Did they talk to the police? Well, no. Obviously, the cop is actually Henry Bowers' dad, so nothing would have happened. So that's sort of believable, sort of. But there was another issue. When they're down in the sewers, they actually find one of the missing kids' shoes. Why didn't you tell the police about that one? I can't think of any reason why not. But you still didn't do that. You should have done. Had the police down there looking for them, maybe they would have all got slaughtered as well, but you didn't. You still would have told the police if you found a shoe of a missing person, wouldn't you? Number 3, Prerogative Shots. Now, you may notice on this segment, the berry telly is missing, and that's because I don't actually want to put this shot in this video. Now, to show the kids having fun and their growing friendship, the way they do this is they have the kids playing together in a quarry. Now, I don't have an issue with that. In fact, it does sort of develop the story. It's the fact that all these kids, who are all 14 by the way, are all standing around in their underwear. I don't really want to be watching a horror film or any film where I'm watching 14-year-old children in underwear. That's just wrong. But it goes one step further. All the boys are sat there oogling over the 14-year-old girl, which, yes, 14-year-old boys would do that. But do I want to see that? No. That's just one shot too far. You should have done something else to try and, convey your message, not have them all stood around in underwear, which, by the way, no one in the 80s was running around in their underwear, by the way. Number 2, extra blood. So quite late on in the film, Henry Bowers gets talked into killing his dad by Pennywise the Clown. And it was very well done. It's also something that wasn't in the original 1990 miniseries, which is brilliant. And I loved they added that extra depth to Henry Bowers. However, when you see him a bit later on, he's covered in more blood than what it was when he killed his dad. Didn't add on, it didn't flow. Now, there is a reason for it. There was a deleted scene. Yep. A deleted scene where he killed his 2 best friends, and that is where the extra blood comes from. They should have actually left that deleted scene in. It would have made the film flow a little bit better, not splats of blood covered in blood. Yeah, why did you delete it in the first place? Number 1, no post-credit scene. Post-credit scenes are being done to death, all thanks to the MCU, but let's face it, we all love it. This film should have had one, or a trailer. They should have had something to say, It Chapter 2 is coming, either at the end of the film or at the end of the credits. But there was nothing. Why not? Can anyone explain why not? It would have helped, it would have been brilliant, but nothing. This film has to be a 2-parter film. The book is written like it. The 1990 miniseries was done like it. This was done the same way. It ended the same way. but nothing to say there is another film coming. Why not? Final thoughts. Now, as regular reviewers on my show actually are aware, my genre in films is more sci-fi, as you can tell by my t-shirt. I love sci-fi. Now, horror isn't my forte, it's not my favourite genre. I tend to leave that to other YouTubers like Slasher Media. Go check him out. I was quite excited to watch this film, and I'm glad, because I loved the original 1990 miniseries. One thing I didn't want to see was literally a remake, a shot-to-shot remake of the original 1990 miniseries, and I got what I wanted. The original 1990 miniseries is more comical, whereas this is more psychological. And it's brilliant, and it works, and I loved it. There is a lot going good for this film. The casting, the child actors are very hit and miss when you use a child actor. They got it spot on. The kids were perfect as their role. The adults were perfect as in their roles. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown, surprisingly, was brilliant. For his version of Pennywise, it was never going to be as good as Tim Curry has previously said, but he did do a brilliant job. And I'm glad he did what he said he set out to do by doing a completely different version, because he couldn't compete. And he pulled it off. It was brilliant. One thing I did love about this film as well is the whole 80s nostalgia. As a child growing up in the 80s, seeing all the stuff from the 80s, like the calculator watch, which I loved. Mum, you never got me one, why not? Airwolf t-shirts, I want one by the way. If anyone wants to send me an Airwolf t-shirt, love it. It was brilliant, and it was so well done, especially in this day and age, to make something look like it came out in the 80s. Seeing Batman on the big screen, or Lethal Weapon 2 in the big screen. Brilliant. It was so much well done. It was well thought out. There's not actually that much wrong with the film itself, which is why I've brought in a lot of behind the scenes stuff. The only big issue, bizarrely enough, is that one scene with the kids in their underwear, which was just pure wrong. That shouldn't have been in the film. But other than that, all the praise this film got, it is well deserved. Yeah, strange enough, this has made me more excited for the sequel. But I'm not talking about the sequel, I'm talking about this film. So what am I going to rate it? You know what, I was hooked from start to finish on this film. I'm actually, for a horror film, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, it was good. I highly recommend this film. Go and watch it. As I said, I am excited, really excited to actually watch the sequel. Do you want to know what I think about the sequel though? Well, come back next week, because that's what I'm doing next week. I am actually really excited to do this next week's video. Really am. No clue, I've just said it out there. But that's what I think of this film. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to reading them all. If you want to get in touch with me, just search for @Berryman81. Just type it into Google. I tend to come up everywhere now. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Take care. Have a good time. Bye-bye.